have all the injectors out and it's ready to start replacing the injector cups. We have a few options now. One of the options is the old school way. Ford originally wanted these to be done with the heads removed. There's not any reason why you have to do that. But the tool that Ford's made, you take the tap here, you thread it into the injector cup. They make a sleeve here that you install over it, and then you would use this to help to hold it straight. Then you would thread your slide hammer in here with the heads removed, and you could take them out with the slide hammer and with this tool. What we found out as Ford techs, we can adapt it with doing that, taking a socket and put over it, and then we would have to, because our threads are really limited, we have maybe a little bit over a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch of thread inside here, and that's not enough to get the sleeve all the way out. So we would take a socket and stick over it, and we would have different lengths of bolts and washers that we would keep on using to get smaller to pull the sleeve up out of the vehicle. This worked. It was a little bit of a pain to do, and I've been hearing that there's a tool that's actually a guy has manufactured to do this. So I did searching on Google and eBay, and I've actually dealt with this guy called Angelo Fishes. He's a pretty good guy. He's knowledgeable on the product. He's answers the email, gets right back to us, and he has good prices. The reason why I went with him, he has injector seals and all the cups, and he has a complete tool for $385. I mean, that's a good deal. If you price out just your seals and your cups through Ford, you're looking at, geez, the seals are $30 to $40 each, and so are the cups. So times 8. You're looking at some pretty good money. You would have the money just buying genuine equipment and parts as you would buying his complete auction, getting the tool and doing it yourself. And not only that, this tool, I'm looking at it and I want to try it out here and see how it works, because it looks pretty good. Instead of using the sleeve and having to work with it and different size bolts, I think this is going to work pretty good. So we're going to give this here a try in a second. But I also want to mention a few other things. Here's his the installer tool, which we'll come back to as soon as we get the cups done, because there's some things I want to see. But also one of the other things I want to mention, this is a genuine Ford set of O-rings. This is out of an injector. This is the ones that come with it. This is his or theirs, ones they use, the Alliant Power. It's the same thing. It's the same ones that Ford uses, but instead of paying 30, 40 bucks, you can get them from him. You can get them from anybody else. The other guys have them on there 80 bucks. He sells them a lot cheaper than that. He'll sell a whole complete set for $55. And the reason why I'm telling you this is just because why do we do this? We do it to make money, to get our cars fixed. We want to get a best deal at the best price. You're not skimping on quality. You're getting the exact same quality. These are good seals. They're proven. They last. Same thing as Ford without the price. So anyhow, I'm going to go through. When you get the kit, it has instructions on how to use it. Pretty much I'm going to show you on a video so you don't have to sit there and read it and what else to do with it. Also, another thing I want to mention too, I got his book and I'm going through with they sell the exact same parts that Ford does at a lot better price, and it's the same stuff, same quality. So again, I would suggest well, some stuff you can't even get. You can't get these connectors for the FICM through Ford. You have to get them through the whole loom. So if you do have an issue or you need some help, I would recommend calling them. Again, it's not that it's, you know, when you find somebody good, you want to give them a, you know, a shout out, some kudos for them, because they do good for you. Southeast Power System, Angelo Padilla is the one I worked with. If you just check on eBay, you can find them, or if you just Google it or check it out, you can see it there. They're located in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I would recommend giving them a call if you're into saving money and getting a good deal and finding all your diesel parts. It doesn't matter. They just don't specialize in Ford. They have all of them. Let's go ahead and remove this injector, the sleeve for it. One of the things I like to go over first is to keep any debris from going down into the engine. One of the things they recommend to do as the shavings, as you take the injector sleeve out, as the tap cuts into it, there's a chance that you may get some shavings inside there. So what it's recommending to do is just take a penny, drop it down inside of there, and as you see, it fits, I mean, perfectly right down inside there. That also helps to seal it, so it's none of the shavings can do. You can't have any damage. There's no harm from doing the sleeves on the vehicle, and does nothing but save you time. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to use the tool, see how it works for us and what's going on. Now, one of the things I like to show is the rocker arms are still in there, because the way they made this, where they cut out the washer on top, they did the relief cuts for it. The so we can still leave the rocker arms on there. I still have the top pivot bolt where the injector for the hold down. It all stays in there. Makes it pretty easy for us. Alright, so we put that in. Let's tighten it up. We just bring it down here. It's cutting into the tap's cutting into the injector sleeve. I'm getting a little bit of resistance here. Okay, I've got it bottomed out. Now what they advise to do is to back it off a little bit. This keeps it from being jammed down there and binding. If you back it off a little bit, it keeps it so it's when you remove the after you got the sleeve removed, it makes it easier to remove the tool from the sleeve. So now we're tightening down the 19 or 3/4. There we go, that pop, that's a good sound. We know that we're actually making some progress there, getting the sleeve out. It's actually working pretty smooth. I'm really impressed with this tool. Wish I would have had this years ago. Actually, I wish I would have designed it. And there we go. There's the sleeve. None of the shavings made it down there. We're looking pretty good. Let's remove the tool. I'm going to use the slip joint pliers here. Just grab it. One of the things they recommend, and it's a good advice, is you don't want to grab it too hard. If you use the slip joint pliers the proper way, it comes off easily. There is a right way and a wrong way. Like if I was to hold it like this, it doesn't grip very well. So if you use the pliers properly, it comes off easily. And also, if you don't have to squeeze it too hard, because if you do, you're just going to distort the cup. If I made any dents in that cup, or if I made it oblong, all it'll do, it would jam and get caught here in the flutes or the cuts inside here, and it's going to bind and make it to where I can't get the tool off. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and remove the last of the cups, and then before I install them, I'll go ahead and we'll film that, because there's a little bit of cleaning preparation you want to do and the proper places to apply the Loctite, and then we'll go over with his installing tool and see how well it does for us. And I have to say, so far, good job, Angelo. Okay, I have all the injector cups out. We have them all removed, and we're going to go ahead and install them. One of the things they recommend is where the injectors were, they use Loctite to help to seal them and also help to retain them. You can see where the Loctite was. You want to clean that off inside the cylinder head. Clean surface is always good to have. It helps it to adhere to it, so it's just always a good idea. The best way that I found is if I just use a wire brush and my just this air grinder here works pretty good. I can get it down inside the hole. I can get around the seat. I can get around the sides. It does a pretty good job. So anyhow, I have those all cleaned off, and you can see where the old Loctite was, where it seats on the bottom and where it's and against the sides. So here, and it's also important to use the proper Loctite. There's what they're recommending here, green Loctite, part number 62015. It'll come on the instructions. So you want to make sure you use the proper Loctite, and we'll put it on the areas where it needs to be, and go ahead and install it. This is their driver tool. Works pretty good. Put it there in the hole, and you can hear the difference as I install it until it seats. Okay, you can hear that. That's seated, and that's all there is to it. Now we have the cups installed. I've already installed the other side. You can still get with this tool. It's a little tight, but well, with any tool it's going to be tight because we're doing them on the car. But by the AC box, heater box, it's all easy access with this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish installing the cups, and then we'll talk about doing the injectors and the seals. Okay, now that we have the injector cups all installed, we're going to go ahead and start replacing the seals on the injectors and get all the injectors back in. This is the way that I put the injector seals on. I'm sure it's not the only way out there, it's just the way that works for me. Best way I find if I'm going to have to get the copper sealing washer off on the bottom is just to take a sharp instrument, a knife or a razor blade, get underneath it, work it down a little bit. Once you work it against the injector base, it becomes pretty easy and you can get it off of there. Now the new one, the new copper washer, instead of just trying to push it on and damaging it, I found that a 7mm socket fits perfectly over the tip. So that I'm going to use this to help me press and putting on the seal. So now I just take the seal, I grab it, and I can just push it on, and then I have that seal on. Now the other ones, just like the same way like how we would do piston rings or anything else, I just work them off. I take my hook, I get underneath them, pull them all off of there, work them down, continue on down all the way with them, with each one, starting from the bottom and working my way up to the top. I also do them one at a time, that way I can always remember the order that they came off, just in case you do forget or you need it, you have the other ones either built or still together, help you out. Okay, so now I have them all off, wipe it clean, grab it. We start off with the steel one first, the steel that looks like a piston ring. We'll push it on. Same way you do a piston, you just work on one edge, work it around, put it on there. Next is your square one. It has a square cut one. We'll put it on. To keep from damaging it, I make sure I don't hook it or pierce it. Walk it around each item, put it on. Make sure I didn't roll it anywhere. Go all the way up. Then we have the dark blue, almost black one to go underneath it. Same thing, don't pierce it, don't damage it, don't try to stretch it all on at once, just walk it around. Don't overlap the square one, rotate it, make sure it's all good. Just continue to work on down. Same thing, I'm rotating the injector here as I walk it on. And the last one, I leave it off a little bit, get my hook underneath it so I don't damage it. And the same thing, we just walk it on up there, rotate it, and it's on. Didn't roll any of them, don't have any problems. Now we want to install it. Here I have one that I've already lubricated it, and we'll go ahead and install it. And the only trick I can give you on this is this 5/8 wrench, which I'll show you here in a second. So let's go ahead and install the injector. We want to make sure that we have the hold down above the bolt. Sometimes you can just tap on it and bring it down. And once you have it hooked underneath the bolt here, you can take this 5/8 wrench, grab the base of it, and put it down. That 5/8 wrench, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing right here and pulling it down. Once this part is on the upper bolt, which we never removed, we hook that on, and then I drew it down by pulling down on it. Then we'll just tighten up the, we'll do all 4 injectors, tighten it up, tighten them, torque them down to specs, and we're getting done with this. Alright, thank you.